Hi, I'm Leilani Wells, your everyday woman. Anny Havland has been someone that I have admired for a long time. She started the Talk It Up TV Foundation, where she helps so many people just being herself and being genuine and doing some amazing things. So I just want to introduce you to her and let her share her story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here with us. We are thrilled. So tell me a little bit, Anny, about your story of what led you to the path that you're on now, which I think that you were born for.
Born for. Well, it actually kind of goes back to when I was a child. I grew up with my father in Michigan. My parents were divorced. We grew up in a motorhome. And so Kmart parking lots were where we would hook up to electricity and I would call home.
Right.
And so as a family, we became very tight-knit. Every few months we'd have to change schools. We were afraid that maybe they'd find out and maybe take us away from our dad, and that was really hard on us. And so I always grew up wanting, and then at the age of right before I turned 13, my father passed away and I came to live in Washington. Early off, I started working when I was like 14 years old, and then I ended up getting into banking, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I became a bank teller, and I just excelled right away. I was one of the top sales originators. I actually was ranked in a magazine where I was considered one of the top 50 most successful financial individuals in the entire U.S. But that was like compared with like the CEO of Bank of America.
Wow.
And like our chief executive.
From
like,
a motorhome beginning.
Yeah.
To that.
To the small town girl from Bellingham. It's like, who is this girl? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take over the world. But I was missing a key factor in my life. And I didn't understand what success was.
Right.
I just thought success meant money. And that was really deceiving, to be honest. So I remember like about 2007, 2008, the mortgage industry completely crashed. But it wasn't, I mean, the economy, I guess I should say, but in the banking, everything became a meltdown. So regular people like you and I were losing our jobs. You turn on the news and they would say, walk away from your house because if you don't, you're going to lose all this equity and everything's upside down and everything's backwards, and you would just panic. And people would come to me saying, oh my gosh, what do I really do? Like this, and people would be crying, and I just realized I don't want to even watch the news anymore. Like I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, stop. Like don't watch it, because what it does is it's creating fear.
Right.
And so all these people were listening to this hyped up fear, what they saw on the news or they heard on the radio.
And it was seeping in there, and then they're coming pouring to you.
Yeah, and just everywhere, you know. And so what's happening, people, when they were walking away, it actually was causing it to become even worse.
Right.
Because then when people were walking away, then these banks were going through bankruptcy, causing more problems.
It's a ripple effect.
It was a ripple effect, exactly. And I thought at that point, where's the show, the positive show? Like, come on.
Absolutely.
Where are you at? We need more of this, but we need people to be making actions. And I realized at that point there was something very messed up in our media system. Very messed up.
I completely agree.
And my son asked me, he was probably about like 5. He said, Mom, how come the kids at school get to bring guns to school and we don't?
Wow.
Thank God he thought they were Nerf guns, but it was gut-wrenching, to be honest. And it was at that point where I realized there's got to be a change. And I started helping this little girl. She was 9 years old, and her mom was a single mom. She was a 2-time cancer survivor. She didn't have any medical insurance because of her job. So she couldn't get her daughter's teeth fixed, and they were horrible buck teeth, spread apart, like physically hurt her. The kids were bullying her at school.
Oh my gosh.
And my friend said, well, why don't you take this Talk It Up TV thing that you created? I made out an entire business plan on my cell phone.
I love it.
Right? And I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I don't have a clue what we're doing. I'm not a journalist.
But let's figure it out.
I trip and fall all the time. I'm awkward. I'm not going to lie. But after I met her and I was able to start the transition at that point, I remember what it did to my heart. And I remember going home thinking, everything just crashed on at me in such a positive way. And it was like that aha moment. Like, I still get chills when I think about it because I just remember what it felt like. And I thought, oh my God, that entire time building up this empire is not what defines you or me. So
That's
I
awesome.
literally had that epiphany where I was like, this is my purpose. My purpose in life is to change up the media system. And I literally sold everything that I had, and I started giving it back to people that needed it more than I did, and it created Talk It Up TV.
And did you do this just on your own the whole way through? I mean, did you just say, you know what, piece by piece, bit by bit, just continue doing it that way?
I've always been the main core of it, but it's also recognizing that there are talents that you're not going to have that others will, and to create a team. And so I started creating what I call my army. So I call it my TIU Army, so my Talk It Up TV Army. I was getting training from Marky Costello down in California. And if you've ever seen the TV show on E, it's called Drama Queen. She is the drama queen. That's really her. And she's very in your face, blunt about things, like either you got it or you don't. And she said 2 pieces of advice. Build an audience and they shall come. Prove the network's wrong. Or I guess I should say, and she said, they want shock factor. So I started bringing a team on together, and I literally found my first camera operator. We connected on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He's like, we had a competing video, and he was from Bellingham as well. And he messaged me. He's like, hey, how do you have this many views? I'm like, how do you have that many views? Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I'm learning, I'm playing. I'm like, well, here's my plan. And I just started telling people about it, and it blew my mind that so many people were like, yes. Yes, this is exactly what we need. We need a change.
Right.
We are in. We'll do this. We had professional writers. We had camera operators. We had people who were directing, professional editors. We had no idea how to come together, and it took us years to figure it out.
Wow.
But then when Marky told me that, the part where she said, they want shock factor. When I got back on the plane that night, I realized something that was very key that changed everything. Where does it say that shock factor has to be negative? So what I do is I gather my army, my communities.
Wow.
We come together and we create happy endings to everyone's stories.
I love that. I love it so much.
I love you.
I love you. Well, tell me a little bit about what's going on with Talk It Up TV right now. Like, what right now is very important in your heart and spirit about what you're doing?
It's interesting because we set aside certain topics for the year that we want to focus on. So I turned Talk It Up TV into a nonprofit organization, so then others can get involved and help, because it's also really hard financially. So right now, I think the great thing about it is there's so many different nonprofits out there, and I love pulling them in. It's fantastic, but there's not really one that's like, we're going to be a nonprofit just wherever there's a need. And so we're really focusing on that because that's a great niche of ours.
Yes.
I was serving on 8 boards before I started this because I'd be like, oh, Annie, there's a sick child over here. I'm like, oh.
You did not want to say no to anyone.
Or there's no. How do you say no? Because there's all these people needing help, and how do you pick and choose one?
Right.
So we wanted to focus also on our own backyard. And so what we're focusing right now is like just taking these different topics. We're working on one right now with human trafficking. And it's ending human trafficking. I just got done interviewing a mother whose daughter was trafficked right from here. And so that's on my heart right now.
Right.
And all these stories become on my heart. And there's all different kinds of things. We're doing a big piece on suicide prevention.
Wow.
That's really close in my heart right now. And we're just trying to bring awareness because with the lack of funding that we have at the moment, we're just at the beginning stages.
Yeah.
And it's building brand awareness, which we're starting to do that. And it's just getting this out in everyone's household so people know, because if our youth start watching something like this, it will change so much. Because I learned something that was so fascinating I'll share with you. Did you know that there's only 2 fears that you're born with?
I do. Give me a second.
Yeah.
It's the fear of falling.
Yes.
And loud noises.
Yes.
I just learned that.
We have it in our
Yeah.
mission statement video, and that's one main reason about why we're doing what we do, because the rest is learned. And a lot of it comes from when you watch TV or whatever it is. So people watch this and think, oh my gosh, and they're fearful, like, I don't want to go to that location. At one point there was a gun shooting there, so I'm never going to go back. And then they build up fear.
Wow.
And so if we project different things, like, yes, real life tragedies happen. I am not God. You're not God, as though we'd all love to be. They're going to happen.
Right.
But we can do something about it.
We can.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. Now, I'm so curious, and I know you get asked this a lot.
Okay.
But I have to ask.
You can ask.
Okay, where do you get these stories from? Like, how do you find out about all of these amazing people that you help and all of these?
Great question.
Yeah.
That actually is probably one of my most popular questions. People are like, how do you get these? Because they're all so, like, amazing. I listen to my heart. I listen to what's going around. And there actually was a show once that a young child taught me something that was a life lesson. And we wanted to do a show focused on inner beauty. And not to judge, because so many people judge, and it actually is the devil. And it's hard not to. So we did an episode, and we thought, who better to tell this message than the Burned Children Recovery Foundation? These children were burned from head to toe. So try not to judge them. They all have stories. And at the end of the episode, this little kid, a burn victim, beautiful, beautiful child, I asked him, I said, is there any messages that we can learn that you want to share? And he says, yes. I want people to know this. You don't have to judge us. In fact, you don't have to judge anyone. Because I bet you have a story. He goes, Miss Annie, you have a story. And if I sat down and I talked to you, and he pointed at the camera guy, he goes, I bet you anything you have a story. All you have to do is ask.
Don't make me cry.
I know.
What are you
Okay,
doing to me?
I know. And so he said, ask, and it will eliminate judgment. So he said, please come ask us our story, and we would love to tell you. Stories are powerful. So you know what? How I find my stories? I listen.
So, listen, I have to ask you this.
Sure.
I am really excited to hear about the beginning of your entrepreneur journey. Of when did you wake up and realize, I know you've been doing things since you were 14, you said, right? So I have to know, like, when did you know that I'm Annie and I'm an entrepreneur?
I'm going to do this.
Make it happen.
Power. Yes. I had it in me growing up not having a whole lot. I think it drives you. It motivates you because you always have that craving in you to want more, to do more, because it's not handed to you. So you got to work harder for it.
Yes.
So I always had to work really hard for it. And I did that. But as I was talking about in my story, success, I thought success was climbing this ladder, in corporate America, climbing it, being at the top. But then when you get to the top, where do you go? And so, and it's great and all having these fantastic things, and I know how to start it, but there's something to be told about having to scratch that all and start all over. And it was at that point that I realized, no, I am a true entrepreneur. Because to give up everything and start back over as if I just graduated again, it is life-changing, especially at my age. And to relearn, to relive with different means is challenging.
Right.
But I know that I have what it takes because I know that I'm a fighter and I will not quit. And if you believe it, you can have it. And as corny and cheesy as that may sound, I'm really big into dreaming. I dream and I think about things all the time, and I don't know how to quit, and I don't know how to give up. And I don't take no very easily because I will find my way. Because if it, and it makes it easy too. When you're doing something for someone else, there's a different asks there. And I know without question that I have a purpose in this life.
Yes.
I don't know how long I'm going to live. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. But it is my job to make a better world for my son. I'm a mother. And I want him to be raised in that environment. So I will not quit. And so I just have that drive in me. As crazy as it may sound, I feel like my passion literally boils in my veins. And I get so hungry for it. I will never go back to being homeless. My mom's like, stop giving away all your money. How are you going to help the homeless if you keep giving away all your money?
She's being mom.
She's being mom. I said, yes, absolutely. You are so right. But I know I will find a way to get back up. And if you are kind to people and you are real and you're genuine, people want to help you. And in this mission, people do want to help. It's scary to ask. It's scary to get out of your comfort zone and say, would you help me? Yeah. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to take a stage. It's terrifying.
Speaking of that, I know a lot of people, they don't know, how to help. And that's a lot of times people are wondering, why don't more people go out there and help?
Yes.
And you are real. You are genuine. She is amazing, as you can see. I know you guys feel this.
Thank you.
You are. And I really appreciate what you're doing for everyone. And my question to you is this, how can everyone out there help? Like, what is it that they can do to do more and be part of the TIU Army,
Well, first off, before that, if you have a dream, this is just speaking out there, please don't give up, because I thought that I could never do something like this because I didn't look like the people that you see on TV. I was awkward. I mess up my words, as you can tell. I don't have any training. I wasn't even in the industry, and the film industry is very intimidating, and so is the entertainment. And you're going to be told no a lot of times. But if it's something you're truly meant to do, don't give up. You have to have faith. And if you want to be a part of our movement, join our TIU Army, it's very simple. There's many easy ways that you can help. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, because as my trainer told me, build an audience and prove them wrong. Subscribe to our newsletter, and every week you will have fantastic content being emailed right to you, including our episodes. There's a link on our website that you can personally donate. If there's a certain topic or cause that you want those monies to go towards, you can select on there the different types of causes, or it could go towards the general foundation. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/TalkItUpTV. We have social media sites as well, such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and it's all under Talk It Up TV. So please go in there and find us and join the Army and join the fight, and let's make a positive difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited. And I have one last question for Annie before we wrap up today. What makes you an everyday woman?
That is a very good question. That's a tough one. I think I'm just real. I want to be a fantastic mother. I want to inspire other women. And I'm not going to take any negativity out there in this world when people tell me no. I'm a yes girl. And I want to show that to other people. Because if I can do it, trust me, you can do it. So I think that's what makes me a woman. Yes. I think women are very powerful. We go through a lot of pain. Our pain tolerance is crazy. And when it comes down to it, we've got this.
Yes. You've got this.
I've got this. Yeah.
High five! Get one more in there.
That's good. I like it. See, and that's what makes you you.
Oh gosh, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.
This has been so amazing.
And you know what? Excited. Thanks for taking the time just to ask. Thanks for asking great questions. Thanks for wanting to know more and wanting to be inspired by that, because our stories can maybe inspire other people to follow their dreams and their passion. So thank you guys also.
Yes. And I know you guys are all inspired by her here today, so make sure you go and visit talkituptv.com. We've really had a great time. I hope you all have had a great time too. I hope you've been inspired by this episode, and you've been inspired to get out and move and do things, do everything that you want to do, and also go and help out with Anny Havland's amazing foundation. So anyway, make sure that you subscribe below and click like and subscribe. Once again, Your Everyday Woman, and you're going to go ahead and catch me at CoachLeilaniWells.com. That's CoachLeilaniWells.com, and bye everyone. We love ya.